Hey, we are back. Welcome to Rankable episode 21. I'm your host, as usual, Jared Thomas, Senior Account Executive at iPullRank. I have my lovely co-host, one of the best AMs in the game, Chantel Branch.
Hello.
Oh, you gotta do it for Chantel.
Chapel fingers.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. And yes, and today's episode is how should a franchise attack the market? We have a very special guest today. She has close to 20 years of marketing experience, has worked for companies like Mattel, Tilly's, Irvine Company Retail Properties, and currently is the CMO of Home Franchise Concepts, which owns brands like Budget Blinds, Concrete Craft, Advantage Clean, and Tailored Living. So I definitely like to introduce our special guest today, Heather Nykolaychuk.
Hey, thank you guys. It's so fun to be here, and thank you for getting my name correct. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Nice work.
No, thank you for taking time out your day just to join us. We had Chris on our episode before, and to have you here too, just to give our audience more insights. We really, really appreciate it.
Great. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I personally think that what you guys do and how you support your franchisees is pretty second to none. And I think it's definitely in the age of COVID worthwhile for us to have these kind of conversations, because as the franchisees are small business owners, people need to hear that there is people who have your back, who are here to offer encouragement. And
that's right.
If they're with anyone else, we can make them push so that they can be like you guys.
That's Absolutely. Right. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think that's a perfect segue to the first question, Chantel. I would love to know from you, Heather. I'm curious to know, HFC has 4 different brands, and, we can imagine with those different brands, the different experience, especially throughout the COVID. So what is the biggest challenge right now, would you say, with the current pandemic for your franchisees?
I think let's kind of break it up into 2 sections, the beginning and current, because it's very different actually right now, believe it or not. But in the beginning, trying to navigate everything going on from, government loans and PPP and how do we stay in business? Do we close down? Do we open? Those were all questions that all of the brands across the networks were having. And because of all of the different regulations across the different states and counties and cities, that was really difficult to navigate, because if you think about it, we have over 1,200 franchisees across our network. So you could imagine the differences that each of them were feeling. And then, you go further north into Canada, and of course, they have a whole set of other issues. So navigating that was really difficult in the beginning for everyone. So what we did is we started virtual consultations. Tailored Living and Budget Blinds really jumped on that, which was really helpful, and they were able to keep their businesses moving. We also did all of the governmental research and kind of put it in layman's terms for everyone, sent it out so they understood what they needed and how they needed to proceed. So I think, we were able to kind of combat that in the beginning, but I think all of us were, what do we do now? And we were just, kind of running and trying to figure things out as we were going. But that's really what the difficulty was there. And also thinking about, do I let my people go? How, what's happening there? So those were things that they were definitely struggling with.
Right.
Now, given that everyone is at home, they're in their offices and they're realizing they don't have a home office, or they have hoarded all of the food and now they don't have room in their pantries, and they now hate their window coverings. So as people are in their homes, the home industry, has kind of, taken off a little bit. So our franchisees have had some really amazing months coming out of, May through today. So we've seen a lot of actually great momentum. So the challenge now is, how do I hire associates back in order to handle all of the demand that I have right now? So those are things that they're challenged with as well. And now we're saying, okay, what do we do? What do we do now as we see COVID having somewhat of an uptick, both in Canada and here in the US? And so it's a matter of just trying to be as proactive as possible and reminding everyone the steps that we took before, what the options are, and how to contact us if they need anything. So those are some of the difficulties that the franchisees had during this moment.
But the fact that you guys are there to guide them is pretty cool. And you alluded to the fact that since people are home more, your business is growing because they're looking around and going, my garage is a mess.
That's right.
Every single paper towel in Home Depot, Target.
Yep.
Where do I put it?
Me too.
Rolls of toilet paper. What do I do with that? And also, I have to adjust my windows because now I need to use my screens all day.
Right.
So the window covering has to be very different than what you would just walk by for 2 hours in the evening. Now, the lighting in your house from daylight really matters a lot more than it used to.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
You're more so you want to invest more into it because it needs to be nicer because you have to stare at it.
I'm hearing more. Yep, I gotta look at it.
Well, and now I can only really have people outside. So you think about concrete craft. Well, now I want my outside to look beautiful. And so decorative concrete would be amazing to have out here, right? And I think our network, Advan and Clean, was probably the hardest hit in the big 3 or 4 months. And that's because people said, okay, I have water damage. Well, I can do this myself now that I'm home. Right. I'll work on this now that I'm home. And so that was what was really tough there. So we had to do a lot of education around sanitization and decontamination for that brand. But yeah, people are at home and they're doing a lot of things for their homes. Oof. We're in a different economy. It was the travel economy, and now we have the homebody economy, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Whatever that means.
I know.
All I wanted to do was come to LA and meet Heather in person. It was like my big plan.
I know.
To meet the entire team when we first started working together. And here we are still talking on screens.
I know, but I still love to see your faces no matter how we get to do it.
Totally.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Jared, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Because I was going to ask a follow-up question to that, right? Because you mentioned, that each franchisee has their own specific challenge to their local region and things like that. And from March to May was a really difficult time. So say, for instance, if one franchisee was in a place like New York City where we were on lockdown for a couple of weeks, right? How does the brand support that? And, how does, what kind of resources are in place for somebody like that where sales might have decreased, but in other places they might be increasing?
Great question. And that really came about with the virtual consultation. So we had to pivot that really, really quickly and to come out with training. And, we wish we could have been faster, but we had some franchisees, especially in the New York area, really start to embrace that. And in fact, we got some coverage on, Fox News and Yahoo Business because of the fact that people pivoted so quickly. And so you can do some great consultations, even measuring. We would have them walk through with their customer on how to measure. Some even, ordered off Amazon tape measures to send to them and then walked them through. So it was just kind of building up these best practices with virtual consultation. And what we found, which is really cool, is that some folks in rural areas who often have to travel a long way to do a consultation find that the virtual is great to do first, because then you see how someone's like, are they really interested? Should I make this drive out there? So I think that was really, like I said, one big piece that we were able to create for our franchisees, and some are already doing it in little pockets. And so we were working with them too, to take their best practices and really understand. And so now we have we've rolled out to the budget blind specifically a whole virtual consultation package, how it works, what you do. And so, some have embraced, some have not, but at least they have choice and they have options to keep business moving. And then they work with their customers on how do their customers feel about them being in their home? Are there moments where they can go in when their customers are not there? And they've just been really, asking those tough questions. Do you want me to wear a mask? Do you not want me to wear a mask? Like, what are your preferences? And so they're just questions that you have to now just ask your consumers. And they're getting really, really great at being able to navigate that.
That's excellent.
That's amazing.
You know what's great though, Heather? This becomes part of the HFC toolbox, even when things go back to 100%. There could be dual lines of revenue or opportunities for more revenue when you can go in the house and then on your way back from your in-person one, you could do a virtual in the car or at Panera Bread when we get to go back to doing stuff.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yes.
And stuff.
Yes, and for us, I mean, again, we're learning along the way too, and so the assets that we need to create and the messaging we need to create, we need to continue to pivot that and work with the franchisees on what's working and what's not. But yeah, they have it in their toolbox now, and they can choose to use it or not. But it's been really helpful for some franchisees for sure.
Really good.
I'm curious, why would somebody would not? You know what I mean? Because I think that when you think that, I would think personally from the outside looking in, that would probably be the better option for somebody right now. You could create a better customer relationship and a better experience.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, you're thinking, we were talking earlier today about Gen Z and even, millennials who are now aged, definitely more digital, probably feel more comfortable doing something like this. If you think about it, a franchise like Budget Blinds has been around for 26 plus years, right?
Mhm.
And so you have franchisees who are very comfortable in what they do, and some of their consumers are not comfortable in this space, and so that's why some haven't adopted it, and you can kind of understand why they haven't. So those are probably some reasons, because you still have a different generation, right? That's not as comfortable doing this. I think more and more people are absolutely embracing it and getting more comfortable, but that'll take some time.
I could definitely see. I can see my mom right now. Jared, would you get this thing to work? And
Exactly. Well, even do I use Zoom? Do I use Teams? Do I use FaceTime? Like, what's the best? Do I use something more custom? And so that's been a learning curve for a lot of folks too.
I think that's been the gift and the curse of the whole pandemic from a business perspective, right? Because you figure out new things about your brand, you figure out new things about your skill set in terms of your team members, and you really see who's willing to go the extra mile, and you test new things. I think that was a really cool format for you guys to go virtual, and now, like you said, you can keep it in your toolbox, and then you can expand on that and optimize as you go forward. Like, who knows, in the next year from now, it'd be a whole different, experience, be a virtual reality experience, a 3D experience. I'm just, spitballing, but it could be anything.
Well, it's going to push us into, how do we create assets? How do we create design guides? How do we to make them friendly over this space? And so it's really going to start to push us for sure.
Right, because you guys are going to become de facto content creators. With the help of whatever partners you have, where you're going to be delivering things from a distance as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, my light fell. All right, there we go. I'm shining again.
A conversation's not a conversation unless Jared's light falls.
It always does.
These things are great, but they're not on the sturdy, like the setups. I have lighting and everything. I'm actually thinking about expanding it. And they're always on these most delicate little legs.
Oh my God, that works.
The fact that you guys have lighting blows me away. I have no lighting. At the airport back here.
Is that LAX behind you?
No, it's Santa Ana, John Wayne. I don't know if they call it that anymore, but it's the Santa Ana Airport, Orange County. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I know there's also a Burbank Airport as well. We're totally off topic, but
yes, but that's way north. This is a great airport if anyone wants to ever fly in here again.
I will keep that in mind if I ever am fortunate enough to come back to California. But Jared, I'm sorry, we were talking. Go ahead.
No. You don't have to. I thought you were going to segue to the next one, because it sounds like the next one is actually a good you question. But you've had experience working with multiple agencies and vendors, Heather, and throughout your career. So I'm just curious to know, gotta plug ourselves. So how has your experience with IPR differed from others, and what has been most impactful about IPR, and how we've been able to assist that maybe wasn't expected?
Yeah, and I can't ask that question because, just full disclosure, you guys know I'm the account manager here at iPullRank, and I work directly with Heather's team. So I can never ask her, so could you please tell me what you love about
me? Everything. No, it is kind of a weird love fest every time we get on a call together. But what I would say is IPR has created this really diverse and unique culture within itself, I think. And the way that they interact with one another is just so super powerful, because everyone has their own skill sets and their own superpowers, and everyone has a voice. And it's really great to bring that power together than with our team. And the way that it's worked super well with our team is that IPR pushes back. We don't hire people to help us and not listen, right? Or not expect them to push back and to be true partners. And I mean, the whole team thinks of you guys as our, as an appendage, right? Like we have just really grown together over the last year, and it's been really phenomenal to have that type of relationship. And so that's just kind of how we ebb and flow. We support each other, and I think that has really built a great relationship. I think that in this era of content creation and the need for it more often, it surprised me that we hired you to help us with their SEO, right? For our website specifically. But then to now know that you'll create content to help us with that, and to be able to do that was a little bit of a surprise to us. And so learning our brands well enough to be able to help us create that content has been really, really great, because we need more of it more often. And that has been a really wonderful partnership. And again, listening to us on what our needs are and what our brands are, and being able to take your skill sets and create some powerful content has been great as well.
And just to give to also say back, for you guys to hire us and then allow us to craft and execute a plan has been a supreme pleasure. We do make a lot of recommendations across the board, but you guys are always quick to say, I don't know what I don't know, and tell us what to do. So it's like asking the doctor to come in and then saying, all right, doctor, I'm just going to go under and let you do what you're going to do, versus sometimes you'll have folks say, come in, and you go, well, I don't think it's that. What if it's this, if it's that? And
right.
It's like, no, we're here. We're here to do this. And I never feel like I'm pushing with you guys, because there's an open communication that allows for suggestion. We try things. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And our approach to SEO and SEO optimization is always going to be tied to content, because we just don't get there without it. Those technical debts that we pay in the beginning are great, but in order to ride that wave, it's like we feel, for us, and maybe it's what makes us unique, is that as soon as we get through the technical, we've got to come right with the content.
Absolutely.
And just go, and don't wait for like another partner to show up to do it. We have built out a team so that we can do it and keep that SEO mindset. And it's been wildly successful. And I can't wait to see what we're doing in 2021 with you guys, because
it's going to be so fun. I mean, if you think about our sites, they're the lifeblood of our small business's business, right? If that is not firing as well as it can be, that's where conversion takes place. That's where inspiration and discovery takes place. So if we're not allowing for that, then we have failed our small businesses. And so this is it's a key platform, and you guys just came in and killed it, and we've really raised the bar on what we've been able to provide our franchisees. And if you think about COVID and where we were, we invested in you as part of our team members. We continued to advertise when some of our competitors didn't. And as we were coming out, I don't know what that means these days, but as we were kind of coming out in the May and June timeframe, we were able to capitalize on any sort of pent-up demand. And so, yeah, there was pent-up demand there, but we wouldn't have been able to capture it without all of the efforts that we had put in with you guys and in some of our other efforts. So I think it's a real testament to the team for pushing forward. And when I look back in January and what we told our franchisees at convention we were going to do when it came to the sites and SEO, we still have done in a moment where all of our lives blew up. And so I think we all can be really proud of that.
Yeah. And I want to point out something that you guys do really well. The way that you feature your franchisees on LinkedIn and you tell those stories is a dual purpose, excellent piece. It drives attention to these folks. The pictures are always adorable and beautiful. You tell their story, and it reminds folks that you are a partner. Yeah. It's really great the way you handle that.
We do not exist without them, and we are at service to them. And that is the team comes in every single day knowing that we are the stewards of their dollars and we are at service. And they know more than we do about what's going on out there. I do have 20 plus years of marketing experience, and I'm a darn good one. I know that. But I'm not out there every day. And so it's so important to listen and to let go of some of those things that I might think I know and be open to it as well. So we are at service to our franchisees, and we don't exist without them, which is why we have to find different ways always to celebrate them. And that's one of the best, I think, roles that we have.
It looks good. And I realize that I interact with every one of the posts, which is why I always see them. But some days it just makes me happy to see someone started a business.
Well, I mean, think about what's happened. People have lost their jobs. People have been dependent upon corporations. And obviously, there have just been things that have happened. And now they're like, gosh, how do I take control of my own destiny? It doesn't mean that I'm not going to work a lot of hours. It's not mean that it's not a lot of work, because it is a lot of work being a business owner, right? But now I can control my own destiny, and I still have these helpful people around me, so it's not as risky or scary to start something completely from scratch. And so we've seen a lot of people start these businesses, and they're very excited, and you want to keep that momentum and make sure that they're proud to work with you every day.
Right. It's pretty cool. And I know that we've been talking a little bit about content. And Jared, I know that when we pre-talked, we talked about talking about content. Now that we've worked together, we've talked about the technical SEO. What did you learn about content and content creation from an SEO perspective that you didn't know a year ago?
That it could be interesting. Right. I think what everyone tried to do back in the day when we realized Google and algorithms and we're chasing all of these things and any search engine and algorithms, that we need these keywords here and we need to create something inauthentic just to make sure that we have this here and that here. And it just always seemed to fall flat. It wasn't very interesting. It was like we were just pushing out words to push out words.
Right.
Now to elevate that content into infographics and blogs that are interesting to read, and I think that's what we've been able to begin to create with one another, is what that looks like. And I don't think that that's how I thought of SEO written content, right? It's just like, I got to get this keyword in here, and it's not right. There's a way to be able to do that more beautifully. So.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely in a sophisticated, more refined period as it relates to content, because I think every search engine realized that someone was saying bank 13 times in the article. That's garbage. So we've got to figure out a way to make the algorithms are getting smarter. So we've got to utilize our humanity, which is our creativity, to try to optimize within the algorithms.
Well, and you talk about algorithms, and I think a mistake that a lot of us have made in our past is trying to race the algorithms or figure out what they're trying to do. And one thing that I've been talking to my team about and our business owners about is search engine optimization is actually customer optimization, right? Like what the search engines are trying to do is figure out what our customers want. So we continue to listen to our customers and advocate for them. We don't have to be scared of any sort of algorithm changes or chasing the algorithm changes or blowing up because there was a change. Because if we are doing what's right for our customers, we'll always be, kind of there with them. We're not smarter. I'm not smarter than Google, that's for darn sure. And so, but if we really take the time to listen to our consumers, we can optimize for them, which thereby gets you exactly where you need to be.
Right.
That's a great point. And I love the phrase. That's definitely a rankable moment. You said it's not search engine optimization, but customer optimization. Right?
Great. I
that.
wanted a rankable moment.
No, that's one of our first ones. That was a rankable moment for sure. We're going to have to clip that, please.
Wait, should I clip the moment?
Yeah, we got to clip the moment. That's coming to LinkedIn feed soon.
Yes.
You did.
But actually, just to add, before we actually, conclude this, and I definitely thank you, Heather. I'm curious to know what from your perspective though, like what is good content from the user? Because a lot of times I speak to brands, right, and they make content that's for me, and not necessarily with the customer in mind. But even when you do create customer centric focused content, sometimes it still could be bad. So what are some things that when we collaborate that we look for when we make content for your customers?
It's a great question. And I don't know if we have completely figured that out yet, right? Like I wouldn't say that I'm perfect at it or we're perfect as a team yet at it. But I think as we put content out there and we watch the engagement, if we're not getting what we need from it, we need to just be able to be super flexible with it and not get so tied into but we love this infographic because it's so pretty and it says things that we all wanted to push to our consumers. But let's figure out what they really care about, what they really want, and continue to pivot on that. And you know what? That's hard. That's hard with really defined budgets. And how do you do that? And but you've got to find ways in order to be flexible in that and to be able to change that content out. And we are going to get there in 2021. That's what we're going to be doing, just FYI. Right? Like that is the goal, is to be able to change out content, see what people are engaging with. And if they're not engaging, let's get something up there that they are. And it's just watching that. And that's the beauty of data. That's the beauty of what we can see right now. And so if we don't change it, that's our own fault, right? And so we've got to find ways in these defined budgets and time considerations and resources to be able to do that. But it's so incredibly important.
And it's also the thing of it is, us as a partner, everything that we make, we want to measure.
Yes.
So what we tend to do is when our clients have something that goes live, we bring that into a place where we start to track it just to see like how it's working. So sometimes something feels like it's not working, but then if we can come with data and say, but the data is showing that actually you are making the inroads you want, it allows us to sometimes avail ourselves of what we know to be true, or for us to go, okay, we'll give it another month to feel like what it looks like.
Exactly.
And what happens. So even though, like I said, we're as creative as we are technical, and what we love to do is to attach that technical back onto our creative once it gets into a world that we are no longer in control of. So it becomes super circular. And like I said, I'm so excited to see what 2021 has to offer with us, because we did so much of that housekeeping on the technical side, and now we're in this great content creation period. Yes. And you guys have great products. You have great branding.
Yes, we do.
You got cool franchisees. They continue to have them. You're really innovative. So if we can help when people are like, I had a friend who bought a house, and she's not from the city where she bought the house from, and she goes, apropos, she goes, budget blinds. Are they expensive? Who are they? And I was like, oh my God, that's my.
Stop. You said they're amazing. Get them in.
Yeah,
yes.
I did. And because she doesn't know how to hang blinds.
Well, who does?
Well, I know how to hang mini blinds. I don't know how to, like, once it gets into real window coverings. And what she ended up doing is she ended up making an order. She got everything she needs. She's really happy because she has this window on that faces the street that she wanted to do something beautiful with. And it just all worked out. But she just was Googling blinds, and you guys came up. So
there you go.
Thank you.
There you go. Actually, Chantel, I want to, before we get off, I want to ask you a question, Chantel, because you said something that was really interesting, right? So earlier today, you was just talking about like how you guys give pushback, we give feedback, and it's honest, it's transparent. So when an idea of yours does not work, how do you work through that, right? You know what I mean? Where it doesn't impact the relationship.
Well, you just go, oh, that didn't work.
most people are scared to do that, though. Most people are timid to do that.
So the thing of it is this. We do not ever make promises that are 100% money back guarantee. We said, let's try, because all we can do is try. And if we are mindful and we are watching as things move, we can see if it's tanking. And we can say, hey, this looks like it's tanking. We want to give it another X amount of time. And then we're going to have to pull the plug, or we're going to have to optimize, or we're going to have to refine this. Yeah. And we could have been the most in love with it in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are certain things I just love. I'm obsessed. And then you launch it and you go, well, no one else cared but me.
That's right.
You know, like I was like, there's certain things I just love, certain pieces of content, and it's like no one else cares about that, Chantel. They're not going to do it. So I will happily pull the plug on it because I don't want my client to come back and go, you told me, you promised me.
Be transparent. That's it. Be upfront, be honest, and no surprises. As long as there's no surprises, sounds like it's moving forward. But I don't want to keep you too much longer, Heather. I appreciate. I didn't realize it was 12 o'clock already. But I want to
we did it.
Thank you so much for joining. Like, we really appreciate you as a partner, as a person. You know, you and the whole team has been super supportive of us, and it's been likewise. And we really appreciate you guys. So I thank you again, and hopefully by next year when we're on DSPs and stuff, we want to get you back on, maybe you and Chris together, and just thank you again.
That'd be so fun. Thank you for having me. Yay! Thank you for having me. I could talk to you guys all day. Love you guys so much. You're such great partners, and have an awesome afternoon.
You as well.
Good morning.
You as well. And everybody at home, thank you for listening and tuning in. Thank you for all the support as well. We're on episode 21 already. I can't believe the time is flying, but thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week, or not next week, but have a happy holiday next week. And we'll see you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.